Cuban government supporters clashed with dissidents in Panama City ahead of the historic Summit of the Americas. The two groups got into a fistfight outside the Cuban embassy and outside an international forum. U.S. relations with Cuba will be on the agenda as regional leaders meet Friday and Saturday. President Obama discussed the issue with Caribbean leaders during a stop in Jamaica's capital, Kingston.
My expectation is that during the course of this year and into next year, you'll see a series of steps and measures that are taken to build trust and to establish genuine dialogue.
Mr. Obama said the White House is reviewing a State Department report on Cuba to determine if the country should be removed from a list of state sponsors of terrorism. He is expected to talk with Cuban President Raul Castro during the summit in Panama City. Many Cubans hope the two leaders will advance talks on restoring political and economic relations.
May they come to an agreement, because in my opinion, the meetings that have been conducted have touched upon on really interesting topics, like removing Cuba from the terrorist and human rights list. But I still think a little more is missing in that area. In other words, making relations between the United States and Cuba more solid.
Cubans loyal to the communist government view the rapprochement with some suspicion.
It will be very difficult to have a relationship with a person or a country that accuses you and has an illegal base in Guantanamo, which accuses you of being a terrorist country, which does not lift the blockade and does not allow Americans to come to Cuba.
The Obama administration has allowed Cuban Americans to visit their relatives on the island. Talks are underway to further ease travel restrictions.
I think it's the best thing within what could be accomplished. But nevertheless, it's good that it happens so that the Cuban people can become more independent and can have relationships with the American people, because we have relatives here and relatives there.
Many Cuban Americans oppose renewing diplomatic relations with Cuba, saying that would give legitimacy to the Castro regime. Zlatica Hoke, VOA News, Washington.